Let's read section 2 of Premchand's story A Coward and understand the story. So, in section 1, we saw the two major characters, Keshav and Prema, and we also saw the source of conflict in the story, the caste system. We also saw that Keshav is opposed to old traditions. He follows new ways of life, whereas Prema adheres to family, to her parents, and traditions. Let's read paragraph 2. Remember that at the end of section 1, we saw that Keshav leaves Prema alone in the Victoria Park, and Prema is in tears. So let's begin reading section 2. When after supper that night Prema lay down in her mother's room, she could not sleep. Now, in your note copy where you are noting down the elements of story, write another point which I did not tell earlier. Write the word setting, setting. And under setting, write three things. A, time. B, place. C, atmosphere. So I did not talk about setting in the section 1. Let me now tell that section 1 has the setting or rural setting. For example, the time in section 1 is evening time. The place in section 1 is a secluded corner of the Victoria Park in some Indian city. And the atmosphere is tense, full of excitement and uncertainty. Now here the setting changes. As the scene changes, the setting changes. For example, uh, section 1 took place in the evening, whereas section 2 is taking place at night. Section 1 took place in the Victoria Park. Section 2 takes place in Prema's mother's room at Prema's home. Now let's read and see how is the atmosphere. I repeat, you can note down in a note copy. There are three elements of setting. First, time. Second, place. Third, atmosphere or environment. By atmosphere or environment, we mean the kind of impression or feeling we have as we enter the world of a story. Let's read now. When after supper that night Prema lay down in her mother's room, she could not sleep. Now, I was talking about atmosphere or environment. This sentence helps us the environment or atmosphere. You read that Prema could not sleep. And remember, Prema was crying in the park. Now she is not able to sleep. She is restless. So again, we have atmosphere of tension. There must be some kind of tension going on in Prema's heart. That's why she is not able to sleep. Keshav had said things to her that shadowed her heart like reflections in unquiet waters, changing at every moment, and she could not calm them. Now, in the second sentence of section 2, we come to understand why Prema is not able to sleep or what is the source of tension for Prema. Keshav had said things. Now, if you remember section 1, you saw that Keshav was very violent, Keshav was angry, Keshav tried to hold Prema's hand, Keshav wanted Prema to give a decision, accept his proposal, Keshav wanted Prema to disclose the love affair at her home with her parents, and Prema said it's not easy for her. And then toward the end of section 1, where Prema said that she cannot take decisions about her life. It is for her parents to decide about her life because she said she is not a free woman, she is not a free girl. And at this, Keshav was so angry that he just leaves Prema there, deserts her alone, and goes, and Prema is crying there. Now, here we see that Prema remembers all those things that Keshav said. Now, in your note copy, note down about this word like. Let me explain you. Like is a figure of speech known as simile. Simile is a figure of speech. What is a figure of speech? A figure of speech is any word that makes writing in literature beautiful, something that decorates literature. Read here. Keshav had said things to her that shadowed her heart like reflections in unquiet water. So a simile compares two things. What is compared here? The things that Keshav had said to Prema, those things are compared to reflections in unquiet water. So when there are waves in the water, when the water in a pond or river is disturbed, then do you see the shadows, the reflections, they keep moving, they're unquiet. So it is a beautiful simile because it truly represents Prema's heart, just as in a moving water, the images and shadows keep moving very, very disturbed, very unquiet. Her heart was also quite unquiet, changing at every moment. Now one thinking, now another thinking, now another thinking, and she could not calm them. Prema could not calm her thoughts. Prema could not calm her heart. Now you see, in a note copy, note down. Now, in this first paragraph of section 2, we see that the tension in the story is rising, the action in the story is rising, and the complication is growing in the story. Things are becoming more and more difficult for the characters. Okay, read ahead. How could she talk to her mother about such things? Now let me highlight the word such things and explain you that such is continuous idea marker. And to understand what such things means here, you must remember what you read in in section 1. You read in section 1 that Prema and Keshav had a very hot discussion about their love affair. Keshav said he is a materialist. Prema said she is an idealist. Prema said that one doesn't have to be husband and wife to be in love. One can be true friend. And Keshav said no, he does not believe in such imaginary, intangible things. And then Keshav said that he will commit suicide if Prema said no to him. Now, the word such things represents these ideas from section 1. Embarrassment kept her silent. Now, this is also important. There is something known as a gender role. Now, look, Prema is embarrassed. Why is she embarrassed? Because do you realize in our traditional families, our parents do not talk about love and sex with children. So, because our parents do not talk openly about love and sex with children, children have hesitation to disclose such topics to their parents. So Prema is feeling shy and embarrassed to talk about her love affair to her mother. Embarrassment kept her silent. She thought, now she thinks, if I don't marry Keshav, what is left for me in life? This is what Keshav said in section 1. Keshav said that his marriage with this Bania girl was the culmination of his life. Now here Prema says that if she failed to marry Keshav, nothing is left in her life. Now, dear students, I have a question for you. If you were Prema, will you think like this that if I can't marry Keshav, there's nothing in my life? Sometimes I feel that Prema is a weak character. Maybe it's the tradition and culture that has weakened her. For example, if a girl is rejected by a boy, or if a girl cannot get the boy she loves, why should she think that there is no other thing in her life? She can get another boy like him. If I don't marry Keshav, what is left for me in life? But on another side, do you see that Prema is very ideal girl and she is 100% dedicated to Keshav, right? Her love for Keshav is unconditional. Her love for Keshav is uh, 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 very philosophical. Her love for Keshav is very pure. While she thought about it over and over again, her mind was made up about just one thing. What? If she did not marry Kesav, she would marry no one. And Kesav also said the same in section 1. If you remember, Kesav said that if you say no, I will end my life. Here now Prema says if she did not marry Kesav, she would marry no one. You can look at this sentence from two sides. If you look from traditional ideology, you can say that Prema is very sincere girl. She is dedicated to Keshav. She is willing to give up her life for Keshav. And if Keshav does not marry, Prema won't marry anybody else. But at the same time, if you look at this line from modern ideology, do you think a girl today should go like this? Do you think you girls who are in my class reading this story, do you think if you have a boyfriend and if you can't marry that boy, do you think you will stay without marriage whole life? No. So you can also say that this point shows that Prema is a weak girl. She is not a very strong girl in some sense. Now move to second paragraph. Her mother said. Now we have a new character now in your note copy under the heading where you are noting down characters. You have already noted down Kesav, you have noted down Prema. Now please note down Prema's mother. In a while we will see her name. Her mother said, still not sleeping? I have told you so many times you ought to do a little work around the house. Now, another important thing here, write a word like gender role. What is gender role? Gender role is what a man is expected to do in day-to-day life and what a woman is expected to do in day-to-day life. For example, in traditional homes, women are expected to work around the house. Right now, here you see gender role. Her mother wants Prema to work around the house, work in the kitchen maybe. But you can never take any time off from your books. Mark here, note in your copy under the character Prema, write down Prema is a very studious girl. Please note down under the heading Prema in the section character. Prema is a very studious girl. She cannot spend even few minutes without the book. Then the mother says, in a little while you will be going to some strange house, and who knows what sort of place it will be. Please highlight the word strange house in your note copy. And this remarkable thing because it tells another reality. It is about arranged marriage. In case of arranged marriages, chances are that the girls getting married have not visited the boy's house and maybe the girl has not met and talked with the boy. The girl does not know what kind of boy he is. So he is a strange boy and his house is strange house. So she says, in a little while, you will be going to some strange house and who knows what sort of place it will be. This is a very remarkable line because it shows that in traditional cultures like Nepal and India, South Asia, women's life is quite uncertain because you don't know with what kind of boy you're getting married and what kind of house you're joining. If you don't get accustomed to doing housework, how are you going to manage? It tells another reality in our society. Our parents, our in-laws expect married girls to do household work like cooking, cleaning, gardening, right? And if a girl doesn't know how to cook, how to clean utensils, how to maintain house, how to maintain garden, then she is not appreciated, right? So this paragraph shows something about traditional gender role. Naively, Prema asked, "Why will I be going to a strange house?" Naively means as if you speak naively, it means you show as if you have no idea, you don't know anything. Naively, Prema asked, "Why will I be going to a strange house?" Smiling, her mother said, "For a girl, it is the greatest calamity, daughter." Now, the story is getting more complex now. Here you read that when Prema says, "Why will I go to a strange house?" And look what the mother says, "For a girl, it is the greatest calamity. It means marriage." In traditional societies, marriage of a girl is something that brings disaster in her life because after the girl gets married, she falls under the control of her in laws, she falls under the full control of her husband, she has no freedom. After being sheltered at home as soon as she is grown up, let me just correct here. After being sheltered at home as soon as she is grown up, or she has grown up, uh, off she goes to live with others. So this is the bitter reality in our society that our daughters have to leave their home all of a sudden and join another new family. If she gets a good husband, if, see the word if, there's condition, chance. If she fate, luck, if she gets a good husband, her days pass happily. Otherwise, she has to go through life weeping. Remark this line and write in your note copy under theme that the story talks about uncertain life of women girls, uncertain life of the girls. It all depends on fate. So note down in your copy under theme fatalism. This story shows that the life of girls depends on fate. Fatalism. In your note copy under the title theme, write one theme, that is fatalism. Fatalism, what does it mean? Fatalism means your future does not depend on your hard work, it depends on luck, on chance, on fate. Let's read ahead. But in our community there is no family that appeals to me. Look what the mother now highlight the word community. Now earlier this story is about caste system, and caste and community are very synonymous. Brahmin community, Kshatriya community, right? Lab. In our community, there is no family that appeals to me. Now move ahead. There is no proper regard for girls anywhere. This is what the mother says. But we have to stay within our caste. Remark this, underline this, highlight this, and note down in your note copy. And under the character's name Prema, where you have written Prema's mother, write down. Please note down in your copy in the section where you are writing about characters. You wrote Kesav, then you wrote Prema, then you wrote Prema's mother. Under Prema's mother, write down that she believes in caste system. Who knows how long caste marriages are going to go on? So you see, Prema's mother believes in caste marriage. Now, when Prema hears this, that her mother believes caste marriage, and she says that uh, you should get married inside your caste, Prema, how does she feel? Frightened. Look, sometimes I pity this character because in section 1 you saw Prema crying. Now in section 2 you see Prema frightened. But here and there they are beginning to have marriages outside the caste, Prema says. Now look, Prema says, "Mother, mother, don't you see some people are having intercaste marriage?" Now look what the mother says. She had said it for the sake of talking, but she trembled lest her mother might guess something. Prema was afraid that maybe her mother would guess that Prema has fallen in love with a boy from another caste. Surprised, her mother asked, "You don't mean among Hindus?" Then the mother says, no, no, Hindus don't have intercaste marriage. Then she answered herself, if this has happened, sorry, if this has happened, highlight the word this, understand, this is a continuous idea marker. If this has happened, so this means if somebody has married out of their caste. So this means if somebody has had intercaste marriage. If this has happened in a few places, then what has come of it? So Prema's mother indicates that all those people who have had intercaste marriages, their married life is ruined. Prema did not reply. She was afraid. Her mother had understood her meaning. Prema thought that her mother understood that Prema was trying to talk in favor of intercaste marriage. She saw her future in that moment before her like a great dark tunnel opening its mouth to swallow her up. Please mark this. Here is another word like earlier you saw. I told you this is a figure of speech simile where now here Prema's future is compared to a dark tunnel. So girls in traditional societies, conservative societies like India and Nepal, they have very uncertain future. And this uncertain future is compared to a dark tunnel because when you enter a dark tunnel, you do not know where you are going. And opening its mouth to swallow her up, this metaphor of a tunnel swallowing Prema up. This is very, very serious metaphor because it indicates that in the next section of the story, things will become more complicated. We can guess that something disastrous is going to happen in the story. We can easily guess this story is moving towards a tragic end. It was a long time before she could fall asleep. Now this section 2 ends here, and toward the end of section 2, what do we see? Prema was sleeping in the bed, but for a long time sleep did not come to her, and she kept thinking. Now, once again, I wrap up. The setting in this section 2 is late night, Prema's home, Prema's mother's room, and the characters here are Prema and her mother. They have this dialogue, and Prema's mother is conservative, traditional. Prema's mother thinks that one should marry inside their own caste, and Prema feels quite scared because she sees that her future is quite uncertain. So, do you see that as by the time we come to the end of section 2, our story is getting more and more complex, and our major character Prema is facing higher difficulties. So it's like we now see dark clouds in the sky of the story. Dark clouds are looming in the sky in this story, and now we can easily understand that maybe in section 3 now we'll have more difficult things. I stop here. In the next video, I will talk about section 3. Now, hope those students who are going to present in class, they can use this material and prepare accordingly. Let me stop the recording.